What's up guys, welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're going to be doing another NHRA reaction video. Today's reaction video is going to be what is NHRA Drag Racing. Now I've done the Crashers one, I've done the Fire Breathing Monsters one and they blew me away. And you guys wanted to see more, so we're going to be learning a bit more about this drag racing. Now, a few of you guys have told me there is different classes. There's 3 different classes. I can't remember the third, but one of them is Top Fuel and Funny Car, which I've just read off the title, and that's why I remember it. I cannot remember the third, but hopefully it goes into it a little bit in this video. We're hopefully going to learn as much as possible about the NHRA, what it stands for, all that fun stuff. You guys have told me as well that I have to go to one in the future. I will 100%. You guys have told me it's like an earthquake when you're there. The ground shakes, the noise is unbelievable, and it's not even, I was saying 4 to 5 seconds, it's 3 to 4, like it's potentially 3 seconds. That is mental. Let's get straight into this reaction, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're new, I'd really appreciate it. 2 reactions every single day, 1 sport, 1 general reaction, mainly on the US. I'd really appreciate it if that sounds something like you'd like. Let me know in the comments what else you want me to react to, whether it's NHRA or other sports or general reactions. I'd appreciate that. Now, let's try and hit 100 likes on this video. NHRA, what we got? Oh, that's loud. Look at them, man.
We completely tear the engine apart and rebuild it in about 30 minutes, burn about 15 gallons of fuel on a single run, which is only about 3.7 seconds.
Wow.
It's the fastest accelerating vehicle on land, and they're badass.
These are 10, 12,000 horsepower cars. When we launch, it's about 5 Gs. When we hit our parachutes down the top end, it's negative Gs.
People in the stands think, oh, you're just going straight. If you're standing in the back of these cars, it's not just going straight. It's driving all over the place, and it's a struggle, and they're beasts.
Holy! Apparently there's a drag race as well. I think people were saying Santa Pod in Northampton in England. Maybe once it covers over, I will get to go to one of these live. Maybe we'll do a video of me going to one. I don't really know. I would need to look into it. But let me know if that's something you want to see in the comments as well, guys.
NHRA stands for National Hot Rod Association. There's a number of different categories. In the funny car category, we go 0 to 1,000 feet in under 4 seconds at over 330 miles an hour.
Side-by-side racing, 330 miles per hour, 10,000 horsepower, less than 4 seconds. There's nothing like it.
The big difference between a funny car and top fuel is obviously the chassis. We're heavier. We have to move more air just because of the body that goes over the car. Driveline, engine components are basically the same thing. It's the application's a little bit different.
Actually, I've had the opportunity to drive both a top fuel car and a funny car. I got licensed in a funny car last season, and they are, I'll tell you, 2 different animals. I mean, in a funny car, the wheelbase is so much shorter, so you're steering the thing like no other all the way down the racetrack just to keep it straight in the groove, whereas in a top fuel dragster, you don't have to do that as much. Also, with a funny car, the engine is right in front of you, so when it blows up, that explosion is in your lap, which is why I like a top fuel car. It happens behind me, and I don't know how bad it is until the end of a run.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, again, at least when it's behind, it is the shock, but you don't know how bad it is, and you know you're still there, so it's okay. But when you see it in front, that panic must set in, and it must be a huge, huge shock to you, because you're seeing it, and then the fear kicks in, you know? And it's like... And then you can't see properly as well. That must be mental. Either way, it's absolutely horrible, but wow. You know, the speed these things go, oh man.
I was a kid, top fuel was always the king of the sport, and I since I was a little kid, just because they are faster, they're quicker, and that's why I love driving them.
The biggest difference is the ET. When these cars go 0 to 1,000 feet, our funny cars go over 330 miles an hour. The ET is a little bit quicker in the top fuel cars versus the funny cars, but I think we've got them on speed still, so that's kind of cool.
We use Nitromethane, which it's one of the only race cars that uses it on the planet. If you stand behind the thing while it's running, the fumes will make you cry, they'll make you cough, choke.
Oh, wow.
It's really incredible what these things do.
To explain nitromethane is a little bit difficult. It's the fuel we burn. It's a very controlled fuel. It's a very dangerous fuel. That's why it makes a lot of power. It's controlled by Homeland Security. Scented, when these cars warm up in the pits, fans love getting the sensory of it, and it breathes. It makes your eyes tear, your nose start flowing juices, and you can't hardly see. It's just unreal. If you get too much of it, you won't be able to breathe.
Yeah, we put on gas masks to make sure we can breathe and see. It basically takes your breath away and makes your eyes water. So to be able to see everything that we're doing in the warm-up and make sure we're not missing anything, we wear our gas masks.
That's not surprising. And you know, that simple thing of breathing has got to help a little bit. Holy, this is mad as well. Very scientific with the engines. Obviously, I'd only seen the fire-breathing monsters. I'd only seen the crashes. Sorry, not the crashes, the explosions and a few crashes as well. You don't really think about the engine rebuild and the skill it takes in such a short period of time. The dangerous, unstable chemicals they're playing with, man. Holy, that adds a whole new bit to the sport as well. And that's quite exciting, especially as a spectator. Because I remember one comment was saying that, like you could see in them images, you can go and watch them rebuild the engine. That's got to be so interesting. And then the fear as well, because you've just taken it apart, put it back in, that could have been your mistake, which makes it explode and potentially cause a bad accident. That also is pressure on top. And I imagine these cost a lot of money, so you don't want to get them exploding. Let me know in the comments if that is true. Holy man. Yo, this is amazing.
When the cars come back after a run, they pull into the pit. First thing we do is disassemble the car.
Wow,
it's
man.
disassembled within 3 minutes. Supercharged manifolds, cylinder heads, pistons, clutch, driveline. That's all done within the first 3 minutes of coming back to the pit.
Basically, we go over every part. We disassemble the engine, go through the short block, look at all the rod bearings, all the main bearings. Supercharger gets gone through. Basically, the rotors come out, strips, put back in. The heads get taken off, serviced. All the seats and everything looked at. Clutch comes out, new clutch pack goes in.
It depends on the crew, how long they've been together and how well they gel, but the good guys, they can do it in 30 minutes. We're pulling the wires to start the thing back up.
Mate, you know, just all that in 30 minutes. Wow, man. Top quality service. These guys are pros. Like, that is incredible skill. And again, it's all teamwork, chemistry to make it go faster, but fair play, man.
Rebuilding the car in 30 minutes. I mean, we start the car up typically in 29 minutes after it comes back in the pit. After a full service, tearing the engine completely apart, clutches out, rebuild it, put new parts on, start it up in 30 minutes.
You know, it's crazy. They work extremely hard. They're covered in dirt, grease, head to toe, oil. I mean, they're covered in between every single round, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears in this race car.
Awesome,
and
man.
we go out there, and there's a lot of pressure, I think, on all of us. There's a lot of pressure on me because I have 4 seconds to do the best job that I can to keep this car straight in the center of that groove, to have a great reaction time, and to make the run worth it. And worth all the work that they've put into it.
100%.
It takes a whole team to make that car go down the racetrack, and I always give it up to them. The driver always gets the credit, but it takes everybody involved. And you know, they're the reason that we've won races and won a championship last year, so I give it all up to them.
I can't be running this car, I can't be driving this car without my crew guys and without my crew chiefs. It doesn't run without them, you know. I literally trust these guys with my life.
Whether it's mechanics or the driver, I'm not sure how you would split that. Probably 50-50. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, 100%. You talk about like in F1 and NASCAR, which we've covered a lot on this channel. The pit crew, I always say, it's a team's job. If you don't have a good pit crew, you're not going to win. And even though the driver may do a lot more work, I'd say the driver does a lot more work in terms of race day in NASCAR and stuff like that, because they've got to obviously go so far in it, and then they come in for a pit stop. That pit stop can mess you up. But there's also a lot of prep before getting your car ready, which doesn't really get thought about in them spots. But this one, it shows even on race day, between races, how important your team behind you is. And if your team isn't that good, you ain't going to be a good driver, because you ain't going to get the perfect engine, and potentially it's going to be dangerous as well. Fair play, man. This is a massive team sport. It's incredible, to be honest with you.
This was a pretty huge moment for the Force family.
Courtney Force getting her first win. Another Force in the winner's circle, and mom and dad are happy as well they should be.
I grew up around this sport. Ever since I was a kid, I was out here watching my dad compete in the funny car category. He won a lot of races, broke a lot of records, you know, won multiple championships.
I really am looking at like the funny cars or the dragsters. That's what I got my eye on, but we'll see.
And now I get to be out here competing against him. I mean, that was the dream of mine since I was a kid. I told him, you know, I wanted to grow up and be a funny car driver just like him, and told him he couldn't retire until I could come out here and compete against him.
That's awesome.
I used to come out to the racetrack as a kid with my sisters just to watch my dad. That's how we'd hang out with Dad. He'd pack up and go on the road, and we'd follow him to racetracks, and these racetracks kind of became second homes to us. Everyone out here, teams, crew guys, crew chiefs, kind of became family to us. So I fell in love with the sport at a young age.
I think my dad was a little surprised that any of his kids had an interest in the sport, but I think he was happy about it. He always said he wanted boys. He ended up with 4 daughters, and 3 of us ended up driving professionally. So
wow.
I think we surprised him a little bit, but we're a very tight-knit family. I get to compete against my dad in the funny car category. My sister Brittany, she just actually won the Top Fuel Championship last season.
If you would have asked me 15 years ago if I'd be driving a Top Fuel car, there's no way I'd absolutely believe it. I used to think Top Fuel drivers, funny car drivers were insane, so it surprises me that I ended up driving one.
We just have fun with it. We get to travel and see a lot of cool places, but we get to work together as a family, which is the most important thing.
That's absolutely awesome. Especially as a dad, I can't think of anything like much better than raising a kid and then being able to compete in what you love so much with them. Like, they followed your career path. He's obviously, you've got to be in love with this sport to do it because it's so dangerous. That's honestly absolutely amazing. And they get to do it together, they get to travel together. That is a perfect situation, man.
Daughter become the 2017 Top Fuel World Champion.
100 national event Wally belongs to Courtney Force. I'll tell you why, because Brittany Force has too much steam. Courtney Force saves the day for John Force Racing.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome as well. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Go and check this channel out if you've never heard of it before and you're an NHRA fan. The link will be in the description to this video, guys. Go give it some support. I really enjoyed that. What an amazing video. What a fantastic story. And we also learned about NHRA. Let me know if you want me to do more of this. I definitely will. It's absolutely insane. I don't know how many highlights or reactions you can get out of this, but I want to check out more either way. So if you think it's even worth me checking out in terms of whether for a reaction video or for me just to check out on the side, because that's why I do this a lot. There's so many videos which I just watch because I don't think you guys would want to see its reaction, so I just watch it in my own time because I genuinely enjoy these sports. I'm a sport person through and through, and I honestly can't get enough. I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction. Hit that like button if you have. Let's try near 100 likes. Subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate it. I really would. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.